Another facet of Ignatius that I think I will always remember throughout the rest of my life, and I'll always remember the lessons and the stories and the memories. That's service, because you know, participating in service, you start really early on in your Ignatius career. If not freshman year, you go with sophomore service, and it really kind of sets you up for a good career of service in high school. And it's just something that, I think both myself and many other people will remember for the rest of our lives, and we'll take lessons from it.
I completely agree with everything. I mean, you said the service opportunities here at Ignatius are truly, I mean, central to our education. And I don't think it's that we like want to talk about all the things we've done and how we've helped people, right? It's more about how these moments that we've been through are the most transformational things that we have done throughout Ignatius. And for a lot of guys, it's the best memories they'll have. So, I mean, to me, it's really interesting. Like, you come in as an eighth grader or whenever you come in, and you have no idea what service is. Most guys have never really been exposed to those sort of things, us included, right? But then at the end of 4 years, look at all the changes that have happened. So I think it'd be great to talk to some guys and see that progression, and just hear about their memories and those moments that I talked about.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, whether it's green team, whether it's doing Labra, whether it's any of the service projects, Arupe, you really
Yeah,
do learn something new with every service project. And we're going to be talking to some guys who have been really involved in different service projects, and I think that we're all going to learn something new from these discussions. So, yeah, it's going to be good talking to these guys.
for sure. Looking forward to it.
Um, Obviously, it's strange how school just ended so abruptly, mid March. We had no idea that it would end up being the rest of the school year, but it kind of ended our service careers during high school at St. Ignatius. And I just wanted to get your thoughts and reflections on how that kind of made a difference in your life, not being able to do service at St. Ignatius.
It was really weird, Mike. It sucks.
Well, I mean, it's strange, especially like not having my phone blow up with pallbearers texts. Like that's just strange.
Well, it was certainly tough. Just kind of going through CAT meetings every Thursday, and then going through a cycle of Gonzaga on Tuesday, Labras here and there on Sunday, movers on Monday. It was pretty awkward, transitioning.
I'd say that not being able to do service has definitely taken away a sense of purpose to an extent, which is really unfortunate.
At Ignatius, I was like the service that I was most heavily involved with was L'Arche. So, yeah, it's been. I don't think it's really totally set in yet, but I am pretty disappointed because I didn't think that the last time we were there was going to be the last time I'll probably ever see those guys.
Because I was actually scheduled to lead Labra that following week, right around then, and
I think the Ignatius community has really done a good job of keeping up with students in service. We've done CAT meetings every Thursday, and then they've also done Zoom videos with stuff like Bigs and Littles, so with kids from the schools around the area, the grade schools.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is I've been going on a lot of runs recently, and I've just had a lot of time to see things around our community and reflect on stuff.
Walsh Academy was always a bright spot, so getting to see our wonderful sixth graders pretty often was always a blessing each day. So,
and one of the biggest things I keep seeing is trash on the side of the road. and I want to go and like pick it up and throw it away, but I'm like, I don't know with the virus, like, so like I kind of have to change my mentality of like, I know that may be a little too cautious, but like at the same time, it's like you kind of have to change your entire lifestyle with thinking about how to care for others and care for creation from afar.
Those are the things that are, the purpose is gone a little bit, but that's only temporary. It's just because we can't see other people right now. And, I'm sure going into college, there'll be plenty of opportunities to help other people.
I remember leaving school, and this is the part that bothers me the most, is that I was in my last class, 8th period, on that Thursday, and it's going to haunt me for the rest of my life. I'm not going to be able to forget it. But this junior is like, well, guys, enjoy it because it's the last time that we're ever going to be on campus. I'm like, dude, you're full of it. Are you kidding me? I mean, really? You think this is going to be the end of the year? All right, relax. And I remember it was just a surreal feeling walking out of that building because all the hockey guys like around me like crying and hugging each other, and I was like, man, that's kind of sad. I'm like, it just felt weird, and I probably should have known something was up. And sure enough, that was the last time I'd ever be in class on campus, which is just sad.
For the most part, though, it was certainly weird. You kind of get into just like the mojo of doing stuff and not having that opportunity. It was a little, heartbreaking just because it was something that I was so profound on at Ignatius.
And then in regards to service, I mean, I guess I really didn't believe that it was all real until like that next night, Mr. Walter sent out an email and said, Labra is suspended indefinitely for everybody except adults. And I'm like, wow, that's just like, 850 consecutive weeks with students going out. And I mean, we still do it, which is awesome that, we still have people going out. We're keeping that consecutive streak going. To not be students out there when, our senior Labra was supposed to be in like a week is, it's sad. I mean, serving people is, it's a big deal. So to have that, taken away, at least before I could say goodbye to the things about Ignatius service that are special, yeah, it's kind of messed up,
I was just wondering if you could just talk us through, for the sake of the viewers, what sort of things you were involved with, and like when you started Labra, let's say. I mean, you just mentioned that, and maybe why. Like, what was your main motivator going in?
Okay. To be honest, I don't really know anything about Labra my freshman year. My dad likes to be involved, so I actually got involved in all that through my dad.
Sophomore service, I helped out at hospice, and that's kind of like what started it for me, I guess you could say.
I mean, obviously my sophomore service, I did SCP, so I already got into that service aspect right after my freshman year ended.
So the first one actually was Gonzaga Society. That was the first, you could call it CAT program. We mentioned it at CAT.
Yeah.
It's 15 minutes on Tuesdays when we pray for the sick. Every 3 weeks or every third week of the month, the Fathers Club sends out 6 guys, 6 father-son pairs to go out on Labra. And after my dad took the helm of that, like a week later, he decided that he wanted to put me out there. So me and him went out, and it was just an unforgettable experience. I couldn't believe how like awesome it was. I mean, that was the first thing in service I ever did. So.
Sophomore service for me was more reflecting on like what did first semester mean to me, and then do I really want to carry this on? And I feel like that was a big part of me getting involved junior year and senior year.
Starting out easy with Gonzaga was a great segue that led then into joining the Christmas Food Drive core team, which I did all 4 years.
And then after that, I just started adding other stuff in. So I became a pallbearer my junior year.
And we planned for the event, deliver over 700 baskets to the greater Cleveland area, the poor, the needy, those who really need it.
So yeah, I got involved sophomore year with Homework Club initially, and then after that, Christmas Food Drive, because I did stuff freshman year with it.
And from there, then it kind of just shifted into doing Labra, serving the homeless every Sunday on the streets, making the food beforehand, doing a little prayer in the chapel, and then going out on the west, east, or flats route.
There was Homework Club, that kind of allows you, that was one of my big things, was peer tutoring for younger students, not exactly tutoring for my own peers, because I've always been very good at teaching a bunch of younger kids stuff.
And movers, is probably my favorite one.
Now having the Welsh Academy, it's a new outlet for that, and having lost that outlet again was a little bit unfortunate.
L'Arche. So we would go once a month to the homes, and I've been going since the end of sophomore year, and I've been going to the same home every time. So I'm pretty close with the 3 guys that live there.
Really, it's just moving people from one home to another shelter, one home to an apartment, or vice versa, or even someone who is homeless, moving them into somewhere where they can feel safer, where they can be warmer, hopefully get a start up back into their lives.
And every month that we go, it's always like the best part of my week is going to the L'Arche home and just hanging out with the guys and just seeing what they're doing. And one of the guys is really into bowling, so like seeing his latest bowling scores from the week and seeing how excited they are, and just we normally play a game of Uno, and it's just a ton of fun.
I know a few people too where we would move them and they would look familiar, and that's because we would see them from Labra. That was probably like the most heartwarming thing that came out of movers, was seeing those people that we once served on the streets at Labra, seeing them rise up in this somewhat difficult world and taking on those challenges, especially that they have, and really hoping that they can progress their life that much farther.
Obviously, you mentioned, that first Labra moment, and we've talked with a few other guys who've shared that same experience, including Mike and I. I think that's definitely one of the most powerful moments that people talk about. But is there like another favorite memory or most impactful like experience you've had?
One of the biggest things that I was involved in at Ignatius was pallbearers. And I feel like pallbearers was kind of like where it started for me, like looking into, the military as a future.
Okay.
Because I saw like these people, gave they gave part of their life to this country, like part of their time and everything. And it was just like being able to honor them with a funeral was, I can't even put that into words. It was quite just like, wow, these people really care about others in this country. And
I was out on the East Route, and there was a spot that we passed by right outside the cemetery in the field, or the lot across from Progressive Field. So, we always drive down there, and we were driving down this road, and we saw a man that was like passed out and like slumped on the side of the road, and so we stopped and we asked what was going on, and immediately the second that guy came to and realized that we were trying to give him food, he just started going, "Oh, thank you, God, thank you so much for," and he kept on like saying, that over and over again. We're like, wow, okay. I hadn't experienced that before on Labra. I've seen it a few times now, but for me, it was like, wow. I mean, for somebody that was just like literally passed out, like really terrible conditions, to be thanking God just because we showed up, man, that was pretty special to begin with.
I would probably say that the most impactful experience I had was my first Labra. I went on the East Route, and I remember I was told that night that like this was going to be something that at one point tonight, might not be right away, it might be near the end, God will like enter my heart, and he'll make me really just see what's going on in this world. And I remember that happening.
But so we talked to him, and you could tell that he was an alcoholic, and he told us that, and he was trying to recover.
But my first Labra experience really opened my eyes to the troubles in this world that we see, the hardships that people go through, mostly to no fault of their own. And that really made me realize how much we have and how much we're grateful for, and how we can experience just kind of ourselves sharing that love that God has given us, and the gifts and talents that we have too.
And his hands were all shaking, and he's like, "Guys, don't end up like me. Please don't. Stay away from this stuff." That always hits hard. But then, all of a sudden it was bizarre. Like, it was surreal. He just stopped. His hand stopped shaking. He stopped looking like he was, hurt. And he got serious. And he's like, "Now everybody get around me and listen up." And he said something I won't forget it. He said, "You're the only you that can help you, and you're the only you that can help us." I mean, total meeting, locked eyes with all of us, and I was like, wow. I mean, okay, I guess that's kind of what it's about, right?
Which really made an impact on me because it made me see just like what goes on the outside of my life, what goes on a few blocks away from Ignatius, where it was the normal routine where we go to school every day and then maybe do something afterwards and go back home.
I don't know. That's a quote that that will definitely stick with me for the rest of my life when and especially when I think about Ignatius. I mean, that's kind of why we do service, right? I mean,
another question I wanted to ask you is, how do you think that service at Ignatius will help you down the line, whether it be in college or whether in the career that you choose? How do you think service will aid you in the future?
What makes Ignatius unique is its service.
The big thing about service at Ignatius, if there's like one huge takeaway that anyone can get out of it, it's getting open perspective on people, trying to fit yourselves in their shoes.
Like the importance of a name, the importance of recognizing a person as a person and having a unique identity. Service at Ignatius has allowed me to recognize others as having unique identities and having, their own personalities, and kind of overcome prejudice I might have. Because I could say, I feel like everyone does, but, a little bit of prejudice. And I feel like service at Ignatius has allowed me to work on that and, end up seeing other people as people.
Service, it definitely makes you believe in something, right? Every time you do service, you get something back out of it.
The service at Ignatius is something that a lot of grade schools, if any, really didn't have. And I think that the guys who come to Ignatius over time develop that mindset that change is actually a good thing, or it can be a good thing in a lot of ways.
And the service at Ignatius has formed me in ways that I think that you can't get in other places. The opportunities that Ignatius provides through service to expand you as a person and help people. I mean,
they really have helped me a lot in growing at St. Ignatius and just growing in general. Because when I first went, I'm around these three guys, one of which has Tourette's, and I was just really felt pretty out of place and in an awkward situation. But they were just so welcoming and loving that I just kept coming back, and it made me open up a lot and realize that the don't judge a book by its cover kind of thing. And now they're some of my favorite people to be around.
There's always a feeling of I did something good, and not self-righteous oh, I'm so much better than people, but it's that feeling. It's not exactly contentment, but it's knowing you did something good and that you spent your time well.
You go to a CAT meeting not really knowing what to expect. Maybe you've heard about it from other seniors, but then after those 30 minutes on a Thursday, you come to realize how special that organization is. And from there, you can really develop those skills, those talents to help people.
Going into my senior year, it's really solidified what I want to do in the future. I really want a career where I can, give of myself to others and be with others.
Before I went to Ignatius, I had no idea what I wanted as a career. I had no idea. And I still don't have a great idea, but I know for a fact that if my career in life doesn't involve helping others and doing things for other people, then it's not a career I want to have.
As a result, just down the line, the way I treat people, especially through college and beyond that, meeting strangers, new people, you really have to kind of have an open feel for where others may be coming from, people that you're dealing with.
One of the biggest things that service at Ignatius I think does very well is we create a community. We create relationships with others, and these relationships last for a while, I feel. And that's the biggest thing that I really want to carry with me as I go off, and that's really what senior year has shown me.
That's kind of going out and doing God's work is what I got from service. And I think that's one of the things that's really special.
And I think that was one of the huge things. There really is some great just spiritual power that goes in you through CAT. Once you do one thing, you almost want to do them all, or you want to at least keep continuing what you've done.
So making an active effort to help other people, that's how services change me for the future. It makes me realize that I can't just sit idly by while other people are suffering when I have a wonderful position in the world. I mean, I'm just lucky, and I got to not waste that by being content.
I have one more question.
Mhm.
Just for the underclassmen, what is one piece of advice you'd have for the freshmen and sophomores out there who are kind of hesitant maybe to get involved?
But man, I'd tell them to get involved right away.
It would definitely be to get involved early, and that goes for service programs, athletics, any type of club at Ignatius too.
I'm gonna kind of steal Mrs. Reagan's quote she told me during her faculty feature interview. Take risks. This is a time where you can take risks. There's going to be, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You have one bad experience. Okay, you can move on from that. I mean, you got 4 more years, 3 more years, 2 more years, a year left of Ignatius. I mean, you can afford one little risk.
Yeah, I guess I would have told myself to get going from the get-go and not miss out on so much amazing experiences that I'd be missing out on because, you know, it's limited. Ignatius is only 4 years long. And I feel like I really lived those experiences the last 2. And I wish that I could have had more of those the first 2.
Just get involved early. Like I said, I didn't really get involved until my junior year, and I completely regret it. Like, I wish I had had more time with all my friends at L'Arche and all the different service opportunities.
Getting involved early is huge because that's where you really learn to develop your true self over the 4 years, carrying that into the future. And you get to really find out who your true friends are, and really the ones who lead you down a great path, make you a truly happy person.
You can't live your life in fear when it comes to taking on opportunities and challenges.
I think service is one of the best ways to open yourself to the world.
I think being part of Open to Growth is really stepping outside your comfort zone and maybe doing those activities that are pretty hesitant.
Seeing how harsh our world is, and that there really does need to be change, and you really do have to put yourself forward to enact that.
I know sometimes, and I've thought this, and I think that it's true, if you don't have like a great time, a great 4 years at Ignatius, maybe to no fault of your own, but there was just something you didn't maybe get involved in right away, there was just something you didn't do right, someone you didn't reach out to. There truly is someone for everyone at a great school like Ignatius, and that would definitely be a big thing for 8th graders to have in mind as they enter in as freshmen.
The sad thing is that as much as I tried to live in the moment and be like, hey, enjoy it now while you're still here, I still feel like I let it pass me by too quickly.
Yeah, I think we're all sort of in that boat.
Grab a friend and be like, hey, let's hit up Homework Club, or like, hey, let's let's do Spring into Action or something.
That's something you might only hear at like Ignatius. We're gonna go to Homework Club, or we're gonna do Labra this weekend as our weekend activity. That's something pretty special, I think.
And